OK，所以大家好，我的名字是 Joe，我是一个美国的投资人，有22年，美国的 institutional 的投资人，有22年的经验在投资的关系，还有CFA charter holder，所以这是我的经验。所以这个礼拜，所以我会讲很多英文，所以不好意思，这是中文不是我的中文不太好。Anyways, so this week, what I wanted to talk about because we got a couple feedback about, interest within the tech sector is I wanted to cover the communication sector for investments. So the communication sector is a specific subset of the technology sector that largely covers media providers as well as telecommunication services providers as well. So this is considered a subset of the larger tech industry, and I actually think that there is, from my analysis, this is a particularly interesting area because technically it's receiving a little more support than the other technology sectors, and that can be a result of the rising interest rate environment that we see right now, as well as the properties that are part of the communication services sector. So this week, we're taking a look at this sector specifically. It's our highlight. So bottom line with this sector is, unlike many other items within the technology industry, the communication sector's services sector has substantially higher cash flow generation. So once again, the two major sectors are media companies, and media companies. I guess in the old day, you think of those as like cable companies, but our new media companies these days are companies like Google. Google owns YouTube. Yes, we have a lot of companies that are aggregated together and they sort of, do a bunch of different things. But Google is a major provider of media services through YouTube, as well as some of its other services as well, including AI services, which is something that I'll go into in a little bit as well. Other media services providers in this area include Facebook. Obviously, social media is sort of the new way we're consuming media, as well as some more classical media providers that have evolved with the times, such as Disney. The other segment of the telecommunications services sector is direct service providers. So these are closer to utilities, and that includes companies like T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T, a lot of the companies that provide these wireless communication services that are essential for our modern, technology. These are people who are actually providing the internet services, except now it's not through a traditional landline, is through wireless services. So I'd say these are the two major sectors that make up the communication services, and there are probably a few other smaller ones as well, but these are the ones I want to focus on. So within these, one of the things that is particularly advantageous about the sector is it produces a lot of cash flow. Think about it. Google, they sort of have a platform. Same thing with Disney, same thing with Facebook. They have a platform, and they have a critical number of users that are using their platform. So it's very difficult to get away from this platform. Now, most of the companies on this list too still largely make money from advertising. In fact, within the media segment, there's largely two ways that you can make money. One is through advertisements and one is through subscription. And one thing I hear a lot about with Google is that their search is being challenged right now with artificial intelligence. That is sort of true. Traditional search is going away, but Google still has a platform. Everyone goes to Google when they have questions, right? And now what Google is doing is they're evolving their search engine to include more artificial intelligence answers. If you haven't checked out Google's I/O this past week, they came out with a whole slate of new AI features that are going to be part of the Google search ecosystem. Maybe right now, I mean, it's maybe at like a short-term peak where we're seeing a lot more volatility come back into the market because of Trump's tariff talks. But the other advantage of the communications sector is that, very frankly, it's not fully immune to tariffs, but it's much less impacted by tariffs. So what we're seeing with some of these charts on the communication sectors is that there's that we're seeing more stable demand for their stock, or the stocks that make up this sector, and that's why this week we're bringing it up as a highlight. They have stable cash flows. Some of these are more utility-like in the case of T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon. For the media providers, they definitely have platform. And for the media providers specifically, they generate a substantial amount of cash flow with very few assets. Most of their assets are actually intangible assets. Once again, they've spent most of their energy building a platform. So this specific sector is this week's highlight that we want to bring up. And I think it's currently trading at 17 or 18 times earnings, which is still pretty reasonable compared to the rest of the S&P 500. So this is a sector that this week we believe warrants a bit of attention. If you have any questions, feel free to chat us up in the Line group, and we will keep putting these out. We welcome any feedback. If there's anything that you particularly want us to cover or speak about, definitely participate in the Line group, and we will cover that in hopefully a future section. Thanks, and I will see you next week.